Hello everyone, my name is Chip. Now today we're playing a viewer submitted deck. If you have a deck that you would like to see played, please email me at chipkplays@gmail.com. Link will be in the description down below because typing is hard. So today we have Dean's mono white taxes list. Dean has been playing taxes in his local game store, but hasn't been happy with how the traditional cards have been performing in the local meta. And rather than waiting a week between tournaments, Dean has answered my call and submitted a list to get a more critical look at some of the cards they have chosen. Let's start with the sideboard. Dean has said he doesn't like Phyrexian Revoker in the sideboard. Now I love Revoker, but depending on how things roll in your local meta, maybe running another X1 creature even in the board is just a bad move. So Dean has swapped them out for two Mirran Crusaders. It's hard or impossible for some decks to deal with, provides a fast clock, and wears swords very well. And now to the main deck. Archon of Emeria has left Dean feeling unimpressed, so those have been swapped out for a single copy of Reidane, God of the Worthy, the front side providing a similar body to Archon, but with an effect that really slows down big mana spells, giving you a buffer against board wipes or big planeswalkers. And the backside has a taxing and damage reduction effect. At 4 mana it's a bit pricey, but hey, rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And next up we have the singleton Shalai, Voice of Plenty. It gives us and our other creatures hexproof. This means we can vial it in and invalidate our opponent's removal. It has a back end that survives bolt, and it plays very nicely with our Giver of Runes. The secondary ability, able to put counters on all our creatures, not super likely to happen, but we have 4 Horizon Canopy, so it is something we might be able to pull off occasionally in those grindy games. And because both of these creatures are legendary, Eiganjo Castle gets to put in some work while it's on the field. Dean's next changes are to the mana base, where the 4 Field of Ruin has been replaced by 4 Tectonic Edge. Tech Edge is able to destroy a non-basic land as long as an opponent controls 4 or more lands. There is no search clause on the card, so we don't need Arbiter out to benefit, and interestingly, if you have multiple copies of Tech Edge out, you can hold priority, blow up multiple lands, and get your opponent down to 2 or even 1 land. Now the lack of a search clause on Tech Edge is a double-edged sword, as we don't get to replace the land that we're sacrificing as we would with Field of Ruin. However, Dean has said that sometimes he finds his opponent can pay the Arbiter tax, but he cannot, so he's down a land anyway, so why not run Tech Edge? And finally we have a singleton Flagstones. A couple of cards in the list require double white to be cast, so Dean wants to test out the Flagstones, so in a pinch Ghost Quarter can Ghost Quarter the Flagstones and just guarantee those lands. So these are the changes Dean wants looked at, and just as a heads up to everyone, I'm not a professional player and I'm not playing in the same meta as Dean, so please take any of my results with a grain of salt. Just because something isn't performing well in this league doesn't mean it will always perform badly, and if you have watched some of my other videos, you'd know that most of my content is just trying stuff out in taxes shells and seeing what's fun and what's competitive. As always, feel free to ask any questions or point out any misplays I make in the comments, and if you enjoy this video, leaving a like lets me know this is more of the content you'd like to see. And with that, let's get on with some games. Alright, round 1, we've won the die roll. 1 lander. Loris of the Dream Den revealed from our opponent, so it's either hand, hate, or burn most likely. Got a mulligan, I think. Yep. Aether Vial is what we need in this sort of matchup. Also featuring one of Dean's requested cards, so can't not keep this. Put the second vial away. Just go plains and run out the Aether Vial. Pass the turn there. Wooded Foothills from our opponent. Cracking it, getting a Blood Crypt. And there's the turn 1 Thoughtseize. They do take the Stoneforge here. They pass to us. Aether Vial ticking up. Well, Thalia is a pretty good pickup. Run it out, pass the turn. Verdant Catacombs, cracked immediately. Into a Blood Crypt, untapped. Monastery Swiftspear, Monastery Swiftspear. And no attacks. Okay, well, we'll tick up our Aether Vial. It's greedy, but I'm going to crack our Horizon Canopy here, see if we can get a 2-drop. We got a 2-drop. No attacks here, just pass the turn. And if they try to remove the Thalia, we'll put another one in its place. Yep, Seal of Fire hits the Thalia. Then we'll activate our Aether Vial, put our new Thalia into play, and keep the new one. They swing in for 4. Unfortunately, we're going to have to take it. They pass to us. Aether Vial ticking up. Stoneforge Mystic is really good here. Get the Stoneforge. Yes. Get the Batterskull here. Go to the end step. Then we're going to vial in our Flickerwisp and take them off a land for the turn. No attacks from our opponent. They get the land back. Do they pay the life? They do, but they don't do anything. Okay, well, we're going to tick up the Aether Vial. Another Thalia, not bad. Go to combat, and we'll just swing in the air for 3. Opponent takes it down to 7. Just pass the turn there. Death Shadow from our opponent. It's a 6/6 and another Swiftspear. Okay, well then in the end step, Aether Vial in our Shalai, throw down our Batterskull, and go to our turn. Aether Vial, kind of useless now. We only had the one 4-drop. It's an Arbiter. All right, well, first things first, we're going to attack with our flyers. Now, interestingly enough, if we'd got Maul, we would be winning here. Get our opponent down to 1. Then we're going to run out the Arbiter. And we win. Okay, that was really good. Shalai, very useful as an additional flyer, and it was able to stop a whole bunch of removal. Seems solid. Let's bring in the Auriok Champions. Let's bring in the Mirran Crusaders. I don't think Reidane's doing much. We trim one Vial and go down the Flickerwisps. Run it back like that. All right, now our opponent gets to go first. So good opening hand, please. A 1-lander. But if we draw 1 land, it's an amazing hand. Gonna keep. They're a hand hate deck, so their first turn is going to be basically making us mulligan. Wooded Foothills? No, just passing. Interesting. And we hit the land. All right, plains, pass. Opponent cracks the Wooded Foothills in the end step, gets the Blood Crypt, untapped. Bolts our face. Oh, they're being aggressive. Wooded Foothills from our opponent. Overgrown Tomb, untapped. Scourge of the Skyclaves. Okay. Going to our turn. Plains, Auriok Champion. Pass the turn there. Monastery Swiftspear. Gain ourselves a life. Shrink that Scourge. Bloodstained Mire from our opponent. They swing in. Well, let's block the Scourge. Down to 17. Pass to us. Skyclave's pretty cool. Ghost Quarter. Let's go Stoneforge. Gain some life. Fetch up that Batterskull. Just pass the turn. We've got a backup Stoneforge in case this one doesn't live. Crack the Bloodstained Mire. Get a Blood Crypt untapped. Fatal Push on our Stoneforge. Okay. Swings in. Block the Scourge again. Down to 16. Blood Crypt untapped from our opponent. That's a Loris to hand. Okay. Draw a Maul of the Skyclaves. We'll Skyclave Apparition now. We'll take the Scourge. And we gain a life. No attacks. Just pass it there. If they run out the Loris, we can path it and play Stoneforge or Arbiter. Bauble from our opponent. Cracks it. Looks at our top card. That is the Loris coming back. Gain a life. Bauble. No attacks from our opponent. Passes to us. Draw a Thalia. They're cracking the Bauble to see what our next draw is going to be. Well, let's run out an Arbiter. Gain a life. No attacks. And we'll path that Loris now. Yep, that's a Bolt for our Arbiter, which means they've got 1 less prowess trigger in their turn. They do get to go get a land here though. They do get the basic forest. Okay. Opponent goes to combat. No attacks. Plays a Verdant Catacombs. And is just passing. Are they planning on using a kicker on a Scourge of the Skyclaves? Let's run out the Stoneforge Mystic. Get a Sword of Fire and Ice. Gain some life. Let's go for Thalia here. Gain another life. No attacks. Just pass the turn. Crack the Verdant Catacombs. Get an Overgrown Tomb tapped. Alright, they're just passing. What if we went Arbiter? Gain some life. We'll just pass here because they could kill the Skyclave, which gives them the tools to beat our Auriok Champion. I suppose we could put Maul on it, but I think we're in a very good position. Our opponent's the one that has to act. Lightning Bolt targets the Skyclave Apparition. Let's put Maul down and target the Skyclave. Opponent casts Dismember. Okay, this still invalidates the Bolt, and Thalia blocks the 2/2 illusion very well, and our opponent's down to 1 card in hand. They don't pay the Arbiter tax and crack the land, play a Verdant Catacombs. They are swinging in for 2. I will block with the Thalia. Okay, trade that off. And they just passed the turn. I was expecting a board wipe or something. Eiganjo Castle. Let's put Sword of Fire and Ice into play. Equip it to the Thalia. Go to combat. Swing in for 5. Opponent takes it. Got him. Swinging in for Xaxes. Lovely. Don't think we can keep this one. Mulligan. This one's better. Keep it. Tempted to throw away the Tech Edge here, actually. Throw away the Tech Edge. That way, if they have hand hate on turn 1, we've still got a game. Spire Bluff Canal. Let's play Horizon Canopy into Aether Vial, and they may have that. Sprite Dragon. Okay. Swinging in for 1. So, Blitz. I'm guessing. Prowess. Pass to us. We tick up our Aether Vial. That is a Shalai. That is a very good card. All right. Well, we'll play out the other Aether Vial. Pass the turn there. Mountain from our opponent into a Metamorphose. Into a Stormwing entity. Opponent scries 2. And swings in for 2. Take it down to 16. Activate our Aether Vial. Give runes into play. Go to our turn. Counter on each of our Aether Vials. Plains is good. Skyclave Apparition. Let's just try and eat that Sprite Dragon. That worked. Pass the turn there. Burst Lightning on our Giver of Runes. Well, let's give the Skyclave Pro Red, I guess. Opponent's going to respond. Of course they are. Oh, but it's with a Metamorphose. Giver of Runes down. And Sprite Dragon from our opponent. They swing in for 6. No blocks from us. Go to our turn. Tick up our Aether Vials. A land would be good here. Arbiter isn't bad. Let's lead on Arbiter and get rid of that Spire Bluff Canal. Go to combat and swing in for 2. Opponent's down to 18, pass the turn. Gut shot from our opponent. Pretty gross. See, now here's where Shalai being Archon of Emeria would be good. They've cast Gut Shot. We activate Aether Vial in response and put in the Archon of Emeria. They can't cast anything else. Light up the stage. Yep. It's a mountain and a Soul Scar Mage. Plays the mountain. Swings in. Well, we got to do what we got to do. Aether Vial. Yes. Flickerwisp. We're going to flicker. Comes back as a 1/1. We're going to flicker the Stormwing Entity. I know they get to scry 2 off it. I'm going to go to blocks and we're going to block that Sprite Dragon. Hopefully they don't have another spell. They do not. Okay. Rewarded. Now they play out the Soul Scar Mage. Flickerwisp brings back the Stormwing Entity and now they've got the scry. Go to our turn. Going to tick up both Aether Vials. Horizon Canopy. Well, let's sack the first one for a draw. That's a 2-drop, so that doesn't help us. We'll just pass the turn there. Hopefully we can cheat him out of a spell with this Shalai. Go to combat. Swinging in for 4. Well, Aether Vial. Yep, Shalai. Any response, opponent. Well, Shalai is priced into blocking here. Let's just throw both our creatures in front. That Soul Scar Mage. Lava Dart. Yep, it's our Shalai. Opponent gets a 2/2 out of the deal. They pass to us. Let's keep our Aether Vials where they are. Let's crack the Horizon Canopy for another draw. Another Arbiter. Well, we'll play the planes and we'll pass the turn. They got a Lava Dart, so they're definitely getting in for at least 4, maybe 5. Maybe we can get another turn out of this. Spire Bluff Canal from our opponent. Swings in. Go to blocks. Block the illusion. All right, take 3 down to 4. Go to our turn. Keep these where they are. Another Aether Vial is not what we want to see. Maybe they'll forget about the Lava Dart. I don't think they will. We pass the turn. Opponent goes to combat. Swings in for 3. No blocks from us. Down to 1. And there's the Lava Dart. All right. Auriok Champions are very good. Winds of Abandon are very good. They're not fetching, so Arbiter's not great. I think it's just the Flickerwisps for the 1 toughness. Run it back like that. Yes, I would like to play first. This is not a good hand, but it has the Vial. Nah, we'll mull. We've got sideboard cards against this. Oof. Big oof. I think we keep, throw away a Thalia, Ghost Quarter, down the Aether Vial. Hopefully we draw a land next turn. All right, Aether Vial resolves, pass the turn. Spire Bluff Canal from our opponent into the Swift Spear. Gets in for 1, down to 19. Pass to us, put a counter on our Aether Vial. That is an Auriok Champion though. Unfortunately we didn't hit the land, but Auriok Champion is very good. Pass the turn there. Mountain from our opponent. Mountamorphose. Is this Big Bird? This is Big Bird. Swing in for 2. Take it down to 17. Aether Vial. Put the Giver into play. Go to our turn. Aether Vial ticking up. Path to Exile that we cannot cast. The question is, do we value Thalia or Auriok Champion more? I think we're going to Vial in Thalia now. Pass the turn there. Arid Mesa from our opponent. Crack in the Arid Mesa. So they do have fetches. Lightning Bolt targets our Giver of Runes. Well, let's give Thalia Pro Red now because they've only got 1 mana. But they have 1 mana for a Gut Shot. Okay, cool. Opponent wiped our board. Pumped up their own. Weesh. We're down to 9. Go to our turn. Aether Vial ticking up in response. Auriok Champion into play. I mean, it's a land we can Ghost Quarter. Play a Ghost Quarter. And I don't think we do it now. I think we wait until their turn. Don't want to give them a land that they can just do extra stuff with. Swift Spear, okay. And a Braid. Targeting our Aether Vial. Gross. Well, we are in serious trouble here. It goes to combat, swings in, blocks. We'll block the Monastery Swift Spear. Ghost Quarter our own land. Get a plains. Path that Stormwing. Down to 8. Go to our turn. I mean, it's a creature. Gains his life. Up to 9. Pass the turn there. Sprite Dragon from our opponent. We're running 23 lands. It's turn 5. Wish. Big swing. All right, they Lava Dart our Giver of Runes, prowessing up the board, and they do it again. I suppose that's my bad. I mean, they had cards in hand. If they went straight to combat, we should have just blocked with the Giver. Take 6 down to 4. What do we draw? A land that does nothing. Okay, well... Unfortunately, I think that's going to do it. You got us, opponent. Another Sprite Dragon for good measure as we were conceding. Hello everyone, Chip from the future here. I hope you're all enjoying the league. Now, just to remind you, if you have a list that you would like to see me play, please email me at chipkplays@gmail.com. We'll put the email in the description so it's easier for you to copy and paste. And let's get back to that league. All right, game 3. We've won the die roll. We're going to mulligan. This one's pretty good. We're going to keep. It's between Ghost Quarter and Tech Edge. Tech Edge is the card Dean wanted to see played, so we'll keep the Tech Edge. In that situation, I would have kept the Ghost Quarter. Run out the plains and cast a Giver of Runes. Pass the turn there. Flooded Strand from our opponent. Okay, draw a plane. So let's go plains, Stoneforge. Opponent's cracking the Flooded Strand. It's a Rawgrim Triome. Okay, so they've got red. Let's try for the Batterskull. We've got the Giver of Runes to protect the Stoneforge. Opponent scoops it up. Okay, can't beat a turn 3 Batterskull. Well, they revealed some of their colors. They're blue, white, red. Blue, white, red. So they had blue, white fetch, so I'm guessing control. Okay, well, let's just bring in the rest in peace. Trim a Vial, trim a Wisp, trim a Skyclave, I think. Trim 2 Wisps. Run it back like that. Okay, we'll keep this one. Leaning pretty heavily on Vial, but we have a lot of cool tools. All right, opponent just plays a Steam Vents tapped and passes to us. Ghost Quarter into Aether Vial. Okay, that resolved. Pass the turn there. Force and Negation makes me very scared of the Ghost Quarter Aether Vial line. They play a Scalding Tarn and crack it, get themselves a Hallowed Fountain, and they have the Abrade for the Aether Vial. These may be some very quick games. Yep. Draw a Leonin Arbiter and pass. Scalding Tarn from our opponent. They crack it. Island. Geist of St. Traft. Okay. Pass to us. Sword of Fire and Ice. And I think we just scoop it up there. Yeah, we weren't drawing a land for a while and it wasn't even a white land. Okay. That was my fault. Risky keep. But now we know they are a Geist of St. Traft deck. How do we beat that? Winds of Abandon late game. All right, they hate our Aether Vials, so we're going to keep another one in. Now that we know they have more creatures, I'm actually going to go down a Thalia. Run it back like that, and hopefully we actually get a game against this deck. Yes, I would like to play first. Yes, I will keep this hand. Plains, Aether Vial, your move, opponent. Plains from our opponent. Passing to us. Tick up the Aether Vial. Thalia. Let's lead on Thalia. If they have a turn to Abrade, they won't be able to do it now. Island from our opponent. Okay. Tick up the Aether Vial. Shalai. I like Shalai. Let's play Horizon Canopy. Go to combat. Attack with Thalia. Opponent has the path for the Thalia. Yes. Get ourselves a plains. Aether Vial. Stoneforge Mystic. Use its ability. We'll get the sword. We're just going to cast it now. And now any creature we can get down is just a massive threat. Opponent's stuck on 2 lands. Does nothing. Aether Vial, ticking up. That's the Flagstones. Let's put the Batterskull into play. Leave 3 mana up. And just pass, planning on using Sword of Fire and Ice on something next turn. Steam Vents from our opponent. And they pass. Okay, well, let's tick up the Aether Vial. Let's play a Tech Edge. Gonna equip the sword to the Stoneforge. That worked. Go to combat. Swing in for a bunch. Opponent has the Abrade for the Sword of Fire and Ice. Okay, nothing we can do about that. Hit our opponent down to 13. Pass the turn there. Opponent does play the land. I'm not going to Tech Edge it though. In the end step, I'll activate the Aether Vial. Shalai into play. Go to our turn. Aether Vial doesn't need a move. Ghost Quarter as well. Play the Ghost Quarter. Crack Tech Edge on the plains. Opponent has the Snapcaster. For the path, can only hit the Shalai here. Yep, paths the Shalai. We'll use its ability, get ourselves another land. Oh, Lightning Bolt on the Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, go to combat, swing in for 4. Opponent takes it down to 9. I'm tempted to try and hit that plains, but they have a basic mountain. Wait until their draw step, hit that plains. They do have a mountain. And a Vendilion click. Okay, they target themselves. Geist of St. Traft. And then nothing? Okay, well, we're going to crack the Horizon Canopy to draw. Skyclave is pretty cool. And a Giver of Runes. Wow, plains, Giver of Runes, and we can't Skyclave while protecting the germ. So let's go to combat, swing in. Opponent going for the double block. Okay, pass the turn there. Nothing from our opponent. Okay, Aether Vial could stay where it is. Path to Exile. Just go to combat, swing in for 1. Opponent casts a Resto. Okay, we path the Resto. And then because they're tapped out, we'll return the Batterskull to hand now. They go down to 8. Pass the turn there. We're at 31. So we've got a bit of a buffer. Just a little bit. Bolt for our Giver. So they got rid of the Geist. So they don't have a Geist in hand, more than likely. Aether Vial can stay where it is. Arbiter's pretty cool. Opponent's cracking the Scalding Tarn. It's a Rawgrim Triome. Just pass it there. I suspect they are holding on to Cryptic Command. Lightning Helix for the Arbiter. Okay. Now if we can draw a Tech Edge here, we can resolve this Batterskull through a Cryptic Command. Let's lead on Giver of Runes. Resolved. Let's try for the Batterskull. Remand, okay. Works for me. Pass the turn there, because eventually we're going to hit another Stoneforge. I'm running enough of them. They play a Celestial Colonnade and they pass without doing anything. Reidane is good. Let's cast Reidane. Let's see what they want to do about that. Vendilion Click, okay. Just going to target us, take the Batterskull away. It does. Oof. Oof. Braid on the Giver of Runes. Okay. Well, let's play a Stoneforge Mystic. Yep. Get the Batterskull. Opponent has no cards in hand. Now they have one, so they have to deal with the Stoneforge this turn or else Batterskull's coming back. Restoration Angel. Okay, gonna hit the Vendilion Click. That's cool. Gonna take the Batterskull again. Get an Arbiter. Now that's a Tech Edge. Gonna take the Resto out of the equation. Run out an Arbiter. Go to combat, get in with a Stoneforge. Opponent takes it down to 9. Pass the turn there. Celestial Colonnade tapped from our opponent. Passing to us. Aether Vial can do whatever. Tech Edges are cool. So what if we play that 4, 5, 6, 7? So we're swinging in for 7. Yeah, okay. Opponent's going to try and activate a Celestial Colonnade. We're going to say no. Yep. They block the Skyclave Apparition. Go down to 4. Get themselves a 4/4 illusion. Pass the turn there. Nothing from our opponent. Another Arbiter. Okay. Well, let's go to combat. Swinging with the team. Opponent tries to animate another Celestial Colonnade. Tectonic Edge says no. They then bolt the Reidane. Well, that hurts some of the maths, doesn't it? They are down to 3 though. We will run out the other Arbiter and pass the turn. And unfortunately, we're all out of Tech Edges. Nothing from our opponent. Rest in Peace isn't bad. Let's just cast that now. Yep, no one gets anything back from the graveyard. Let's just pass the turn. Lightning Helix on our Arbiter. Opponent is now up to 6. Ooh, they might be getting away with it. Swinging in for 4. Okay, well, we're going to have to take it. Down to 27. Plains. All right, we'll hold it. Just pass. Swing in for 4. We have to take it again. Down to 23. Eiganjo Castle from our opponent. Flickerwisp. Well, I'm going to try it. There is the cryptic command. Oh, well, we had to try. Opponent swings in for 4. They're building up a bank of cards. They're now in control of the board. Attacking with that Skyclave feels like a mistake. Path to Exile. I don't hate it. Let's go to combat. Swing for 1. Opponent activates the Celestial Colonnade, and we're going to path it. Yep, they helix our Stoneforge. So now we just have to deal with that illusion token. Opponent is out of basics. Good to know. Ghost Quarter's alive. Swing in for 4. They have 1 card in hand. Pass to us. Play out a Giver of Runes. Cryptic's a Giver of Runes. That's aggressive. Pass the turn. Now, unfortunately, we've got dead draws in Aether Vials coming up, so could use some good news, deck. An uncounted Flickerwisp would be nice. We've got 1 more, I believe. That is a Geist of Saint Draft. We are in trouble. Tech Edge ain't going to do it. Now, if we had Path to the Illusion, we would have Tech Edge for the Colonnade, but they also had Counter for the Path. So we're going to go down to 1 life here. There's nothing we can draw that gets us out of this, unfortunately. So if we draw Flickerwisp, we hit the Illusion, we block the Geist, we take 4. We're dead. We didn't bring in Winds of Abandon. Think they got us. Well, we'll see if they can finish it. Hit us for 10. Down to 1. Play a Hallowed Fountain tapped and they pass to us. What do we draw? Thalia doesn't do it, I'm afraid. All right. Well, we're going to concede, but please let me know in the comments if there was something other than that Skyclave Apparition attack that we could have done differently that would have resulted in a different win. But yeah, unfortunately, they've just ground us out. We had them so close. Concede the game there. All right, round 4. We've won the die roll. Gonna keep this one. Let's go Plains into Giver of Runes. Pass the turn there. Opponent plays a Wooded Foothills, cracks it. Gets themselves a Snow-Covered Forest and a Noble Hierarch. Okay, passes to us. Tectonic Edge is good. We'll go Flagstones. We'll just run out the Stoneforge. Gonna get Sword here. Pass the turn there. Wooded Foothills from our opponent. Cracks it. Gets a Stomping Ground. Untapped. Domri Anarch of Bolus. Okay. Haven't seen this for a while. Ticking up for mana. Running out a Noble Hierarch. Passes to us. Let's play the Horizon Canopy. Just pass the turn there. Stoneforge will put in a Batterskull. Oath of Nissa from our opponent. Snow-Covered Forest. Plays the Windswept Heath. Cracks it immediately. Gets a Snow-Covered Forest. Attacking with the Noble Hierarch. Okay. I'll just soak that up for now. Now they're fighting. So if we had got Maul, we would have survived this. All right, let's give Stoneforge Pro Red. In the end step, put the Batterskull into play. Batterskull makes a gem. go to our turn. Let's play Tectonic Edge. We're going to just put the sword into play, equip it to the Batterskull, go to combat. We'll attack them, blocking with the Noble Hierarch. Okay. Just pass the turn there. Opponent ticking up Domri for mana. Oath of Nissa. Arbor Elf. Opponent plays the Snow-Covered Forest. Chandra, Torch of Defiance. Okay. What are they going to do with that? They're going to kill the Stoneforge. Okay. And they cast the Arbor Elf. Passing to us. Thalia. So we're going to play Tech Edge. Run out Stoneforge. Yes. Get the Maul. Play the Maul. Put it on the Germ token. Look at that. Can't get any more equipment on that deck on this creature. Look at that. That is every piece of equipment on a creature that we don't even have in the deck. Let's kill Chandra. We draw a Ghost Quarter. Pass the turn. Can you beat this opponent? Windswept Heath. Cracking it. Getting a Forest. For another Chandra. Okay. Ticking up Domri for mana. Untapping the Stomping Ground. Ticking up Chandra to deal damage. Playing the Birds of Paradise. Well, it's a blocker. Passing to us. Let's crack the Horizon Canopy. Draw a Leonin Arbiter. Let's play it. Let's blow up that Stomping Ground. Equip the sword to the Stoneforge Mystic. Go to combat. Attack them. Attack them. Now they have to double block. Oh, I suppose they don't. They can just take it down to 1. Yep. Opponent throws away both the Mana Dorks. So this is a Luca deck, I'm guessing, because it's all Mana Dorks. Passing the turn there. Wooded Foothills. Cracking it. Okay. Oath of Nissa. Khan the Great Creator revealed. Plays Khan the Great Creator. Certainly hurts. They're revealing. Okay. It's interesting. Ensnaring Bridge. Do they have enough mana for that? I think they might. Ticking up. Ticking up. Okay. We're going to need a Wisp then. Or a Skyclave Apparition, I suppose. In that case, let's do some thinning. Ghost Quarter. Target our Flagstones. Let's run out Thalia and Arbiter. Pass the turn there. Opponent plays the Snow-Covered Forest. Ticking up the Chandra. It's going to ultimate next turn. Casting a Nihiri. Untapping a Forest. Ticking up with Domri. Khan, searching. Torpor Orb. And unfortunately, that's going to do it. We can't get through that Ensnaring Bridge. And they've got a bunch of Planeswalkers that are just a couple of turns away from ultimating. Yeah, we're going to have to scoop that up. Maybe we should have focused more on the walkers. All right, Mirran Crusaders are coming in. Relic-Warders are coming in. Question is, do we want the Auriok Champions or not? I don't think we do. I think we're happy with this package. So then what do we want to get rid of? Shalai's not doing a lot. Reidane does slow down the Planeswalkers. Let's trim one Vial. One Vial, one Thalia, one Giver of Runes. Run it back like that. All right. Just weren't fast enough even with our big creature. Gonna keep this one. Fortunately, we haven't got anything that stops them from lucring. Maybe that's an argument for Winds of Abandon. Let's go Plains and pass. Windswept Heath from our opponent. Cracks it immediately. Stomping Ground. Untapped. Into a Noble Hierarch. Passes to us. That is a Giver of Runes. Horizon Canopy. Into Leonin Arbiter. Pass the turn. Oath of Nissa from our opponent. Reveals a Noble Hierarch. Plays the Noble Hierarch. Has a Stomping Ground that enters tapped. Passes the turn there. Plains. Gonna go Skyclave. We're gonna take the untapped Noble. Go to combat. Swing in for 2. Opponent takes down to 15. Pass the turn there. Windswept Heath from our opponent. Passing the turn. Horizon Canopy. We have to Skyclave. Take away that Noble Hierarch so they can't lucre it. Run out a Giver of Runes. Go to combat. Swing in for 4. Opponent takes it down to 11. They pay the Arbiter cost. Crack the Windswept Heath. Temple Garden. Tapped. And they scoop it up. Okay, we were fast enough. Begin the sideboard. Let's bring in these Winds of Abandon. Trim one Flickerwisp. One more Giver. Run it back like that. All right, this hand's pretty good. We're going to keep Wooded Foothills from our opponent. Cracks it. Snow-Covered Forest into an Arbor Elf. Okay, passes to us. Going to lead on Ghost Quarter and pass. Windswept Heath from our opponent. Cracks it. Snow-Covered Forest. Utopia Sprawl. And we're just going to sacrifice a land to get rid of that Snow-Covered Forest. All right, that worked. They're just swinging in for 1. It was definitely a gamble, and we have to hope we're fast enough now, because we did sacrifice a land to do that. Utopia Sprawl on the Forest. Okay, so they've got all the mana in the universe, naming red. Chandra into play. Ticking up. Oath of Nissa. Plays the Oath of Nissa. That is a Luca. Passes to us. Oy. They've got the Luca. What is it? So, reveal cards from the top until you hit the Emrakul. 4, 5, 6. Okay, well, they have more than enough mana for it, don't they? Let's run out the Thalia. Pass the turn there. Windswept Heath. Arbor Elf going nuts. Chandra adding mana. Luca comes down from the second floor. They exile the Arbor Elf. That is an Emrakul. As much as I love this deck, I don't think we've got the tools to deal with an Emrakul. They got us. All right, final round. We've won the die roll. Okay, we can keep this. Would certainly prefer if this Tech Edge was a Ghost Quarter, but it would be a Field of Ruin otherwise. So, let's go Plains into the Aether Vial. Pass the turn there. Prismatic Vista from our opponent. Cracks it. Gets a Swamp. And Thought Seizes us. What is this? 8-rack? Takes the Leonin Arbiter. Go to our turn. Tick up the Aether Vial. Let's play the Flagstones. Run out Aether Vial. And because I think we're against 8-rack, I won't run out the second one. Just pass the turn there. Prismatic Vista from our opponent. Island. Okay, maybe not 8-rack. Inverter, maybe? I don't know. No idea what this is. Passes to us. Tick up the Aether Vials. Another Skyclave. Play Tectonic Edge. Just pass, I think. I don't think Naked Skyclave's worth it right now. Blood Crypt from our opponent, but it's tapped. Okay, so it's Grixis something. Is this the Delver deck? Let's tick up our Aether Vials. Flickerwisp. Okay, let's go to the end step. Aether Vial. Put in a Flickerwisp. Take them off the Blood Crypt. Pass to them. Another Blood Crypt from them. Tapped. And here's where Tech Edge is really solid. So now they get another Blood Crypt. And that one is tapped. And we're just going to blow it up. Say no on one Aether Vial and no on the other one. Ghost Quarter. Not bad. Let's play the Ghost Quarter. Go to combat. Swing in for 3. No blocks from our opponent. We'll put a stop on their draw step, will we? Nah, we'll just let them go. Prismatic Vista. Cracking it. Okay, what are they getting? Mountain, okay. Wistful Thinking. Target player draws 4 cards, then draws 2 cards, then discards 4 cards. Okay, let's discard all the Skyclaves and the Ghost Quarters. All right, they pass it there. Tick up our Aether Vials. Hit another Aether Vial. Go to combat. Swing in for 3. I'm guessing they were hoping to have Narset with this. So then what? It's just Mind Rot, but for 2 extra? I get it. Make us discard 4, but Blood Crypt from our opponent. Untapped. Waste Not. Cool. Wistful Thinking. Hey, look, it says target player. You know what doesn't like that? Shalai. Passing to us. Aether Vials, both are no's. Plains. Go to combat. Swing in for 6. Take him down to 1. Pass the turn there. All right, opponent scoops it up. Bring in the Relic-Warders. And then, yeah, the Mirran Crusaders and Auriok Champion seem good. We didn't see anything that says Rest in Peace is good. I assume it is, but we didn't see anything. Let's cut a Tech Edge. Cut a Vial, because we drew a lot of them. Reidane. Cut Reidane. Let's cut the 4 Flickerwisp. We'll cut up 1 path. Run it back like that. They're deciding if they want to play first or not. We're going to keep this hand. Prismatic Vista. Isn't cracking it. Interesting. It's a Sword of Fire and Ice as well. Aether Vial. Pass the turn. Another Prismatic Vista. Okay. Smallpox. Are you just desperate for lands so they're not cracking? They want to hide that they have a counter? Well, we'll tick up our Aether Vial. Arbiter. Let's run out Auriok Champion. Pass the turn there. And if they don't crack the Vistas, we get them with Aether Vial. They are cracking the Vista. Get themselves a Swamp. Cracking the other Vista. Get themselves a Mountain. But they just pass the turn. Well, we'll tick up the Aether Vial. Play the Ghost Quarter. Let's put a Maul on our Auriok Champion. Go to combat. Swing in for 3. Opponent takes down to 15 and we will pass the turn there. Collected Brutality from our opponent. Okay, seize our hand. In the end step, we're going to Aether Vial. Put in the Arbiter. Gain a life. Go to our turn. Counter on the Aether Vial. Tech Edge. Run out the sword. Take them off black mana. Go to combat. Swing in for 3. Nothing from our opponent. Aether Vial can stay where it is. Plains, play out the plains. Equip Leonin Arbiter with the Sword of Fire and Ice. Go to combat. Swing in with everything. Hit them for 2. Draw a card. Draw another Skyclave. Okay. Well, our opponent's going to have to do something pretty impressive to get out of this. And they cannot. Okay. All right. Dean's Mono White Taxes deck. What did we think? So Dean did say he wanted to test how the Reidane, Shalai, Tech Edges went, along with Mirran Crusader in the sideboard. Shalai definitely helped us in that last game, and there's definitely points where it's very helpful dodging removal, protecting our creatures, but I think you get the same effect from a Restoration Angel, and Restoration Angel has flash, so I definitely think that might be something worth considering. Reidane, I really like Reidane. Unfortunately, I think the back half is too slow for your burn and blitz style matchups, and the front half's okay, but that's it. It's okay. And Dean's taken out the Archon of Emeria's for the Reidane and the Shalai, and we know Archon is good. Reidane definitely stops some of the bigger spells from being cast, but you're already running the Horizon Canopies, you're already running the Shalai. I mean, is it that much of a stretch to add a couple of green lands and then go into a white-green taxes list with Gaddock Teague? Because then you're completely shutting down those decks, and you're shutting them down a turn earlier, which means your Vial can bring him in on 2, and then you can still protect it with a Flickerwisp the next turn with a Vial on 3. The mismatched Tectonic Edges. I actually really liked Tectonic Edge. There were certainly moments where if it was a Field of Ruin, it would have performed better, but being able to destroy a land without giving your opponent anything and not having to rely on the Arbiter is very good. They can't just bolt your Arbiter in response. You are just killing a land. The Mirran Crusaders in the sideboard. Now, I love Mirran Crusader. I used to run Mirran Crusader when Field of the Dead Titan was a thing, because if you got a fast enough start, you could get Mirran Crusader down and just swing into them. And even though they have 100 zombies, none of them can block, and you can get some sword triggers off. It's got double strike, so it doubles your sword triggers. I think if that's the sort of effect you want to run, that might be a main deck card, if anything. Maybe Shalai and Reidane get moved to the board. The Mirran Crusaders in the main carry swords much better than the other two. Relevant against a lot of removal. Is a 3-drop rather than a 4-drop, so you can more aggressively Tectonic Edge and things like that. I think I would prefer it in the main, and then we might actually get a bit more use out of it. Now, in the sideboard, I really think you're missing a Revoker style effect, a Pithing Needle effect. Linvala, if you want to run a 4-drop Angel, I think Linvala is the way to go, because Heliod Company is a force to be reckoned with, and we have no way of dealing with that. The Revokers also would have stopped the Planeswalkers that we were dealing with, which were a real issue in that other game with the Luca deck. I just don't think Shalai does enough right now. I mean, it stops hand hate, and it stops us getting targeted. It stops our other creatures getting targeted with spells. But I think by turn 4, you're fine with that. I mean, if they're going to hand hate you on turn 4 and you've already got a Shalai down, what's it matter? I've wanted to make Reidane work. I've wanted to play with Shalai. I've played Value Town decks with Shalai and I've loved it. I don't think it's a hit in this deck. The Tectonic Edges I actually really like. So whether that stays at 4 or you bring in some Field of Ruins, I don't know. But keep playing, testing, and let me know how it goes, Dean. And until next time, have fun.